and I cannot lie to you, this was the moment that I fell in love. So my journey on YouTube started about a year ago, and about 6 months in, I only had about 200 subscribers. I was working really hard, and my first break came from somewhere that I was least expecting it, which was the automotive space. I don't watch a lot of car videos. I've never been involved in a lot of car videos, but I had one viral idea, which was the fake Cybertruck video. And that was the video that gave me the start. The only problem was that it went viral without me. So when this video came out, the new Cybertruck had just been announced, which basically, to me, looks like a giant aluminum cardboard box. And at the time, I was trying to grow my YouTube presence. I was trying to make engaging, quality videos. The only problem was that those videos weren't getting any views at all. So I thought if I could make videos with the same quality, with the same level of engagement, but around subjects that people already knew about, that could be something that might help me grow. So I thought, why don't I make an actual cardboard Cybertruck? So I rented a truck, I made a Cybertruck, we made the whole video. The only problem was when the video came out, I got all of my friends texting me saying that they had already seen the truck somehow. Now I had spent 3 days in a hobbit hole making this video. I hadn't consumed anything off the internet in days. And that was until I saw a Reddit post with Ed Bullion's Instagram photo on it that had like 40,000 upvotes. The internet had already seen my truck. This had already gone viral about 3 days ago, and I was late to my own party. When I found this out, I was completely bummed. I thought that all this work, all this planning, all this money that I had spent on this video was for nothing, that the general public had ruined my freaking video. However, I went to my comment section and I saw a comment from Ed Bullion, and then I noticed that I had a DM from him on Instagram where he was asking me to come on VINwiki. At the time, I had no idea what VINwiki was. I looked it up on YouTube. They had almost 1 million subscribers. At the time, I had 200 subscribers, so looking at a channel with 1 million subscribers asking me to come on it was an absolute no-brainer, and I thought this would be like my big break. So the next day, they invited me out to their studio. We came, we shot the VINwiki interview, and when it went live, I went from about 200 subscribers to like 1,200 subscribers in like a day. That kind of attention on the internet was unfounded for me. I couldn't believe. I think I had 27,000 views on the video. It was my most viewed video of all time. And if you're in the automotive world, you probably thought that that's where my moment of fame both started and stopped. But really for me, that was the start. That was the moment that YouTube for me really started taking off. So the next thing I did was a little bit of a forced collaboration where I snuck into Dan Bilzerian's party. That grew the channel enormously. I then did a thing called the Couch Series where we bought $90,000 Mercedes-Benz couches. And using these different collaborations, we've slowly but surely, maybe not so slowly, grown the channel week after week after week. So when COVID really became a thing, I was actually trapped in California at the time. So I was there for probably 2 weeks straight, quarantined, and there I was, not at home, not in my normal situation, just kind of hanging out, and I was with my friend Tanner Fox at his house. But after a while, I needed to find a way to get home. Air travel was not super an option at the time, so I started thinking of creative ways that I could figure out how could I get home across the entire country, from California back to Atlanta, in a creative fashion that might even make some content for my YouTube channel. There's trains, there's buses, there's cars. And when I thought about cars, I thought that that could be interesting. Maybe it's like the fastest car, and then I realized I couldn't afford that. Maybe it's the world's slowest car. That sounds like living hell. The world's largest car, I looked into that. That would be like a tractor trailer, which I definitely don't have the license to drive one of those. But the world's smallest car, that's doable. We could do that. Now the world's smallest car is the P50, which I'm sure most people know. It's like a 3-wheeled tiny car capable of a top speed of like 27 miles an hour. And I looked into the P50, I was trying to buy one. But what I realized with the P50 is that it only goes 27 miles an hour, and that's illegal on any state highway. So then I started doing some digging and I found out that the next smallest car is the Smart for 2. Now when you think about the smart car, there's so much like stigma around that. I've seen smart cars in person, but I've never been inside one or really been like close to one. The community of smart car owners are their own thing, which I had witnessed, but I never been a part of. And that was interesting to me. I wanted to know like, why are these people, any person I've ever talked to that owns a smart car, they're like smart car patriotic. It's all they talk about. They say how it's the best car on planet Earth. And I wanted to know like why. So there I was at midnight using Auto Tempest to look for the cheapest Smart for 2 in California. After a while, I find this one on Long Beach and I get about a $150 Uber ride over to this car to see what a $2,000 smart car is all about. There were a couple things that I wanted to be specific about with the Smart for 2. I saw some options that I definitely wanted. They were non-negotiables. The first one, the most important one, was the convertible top. It looked so ridiculous with the convertible top. It was like a regular Mercedes convertible, but squished down into like pocket size. And the second thing that I wanted to make sure I had was the sport mode, which means the seats were a little bit more firm. Not ideal for a cross-country journey. But when I got to the other side, I wanted something that had maybe a little bit of pickup. And by a little bit of pickup, it's like 2 cylinders of paddle shifting, so it's not a lot there. But it was an option that I wanted and it was a priority for me. So I made sure to find the cheapest convertible Sport Edition Passion 4.2 smart car in all of California, and it was located in Long Beach. So from Temecula, this was about a $150 Uber ride, which was my first investment of many into this Smart for 2. After showing up, I meet a guy who's about 5'4". I'm probably 6'2", 6'3", which was not encouraging that this was the guy that owned the car. Regardless, I asked for the full tour and he showed me everything there is to love about the smart car, and I cannot lie to you, this was the moment that I fell in love. The curtains had been pulled back. I was now in on the community that is the cult smart car following. He showed me how the whole top of the car came off. You could literally press a button and these things would click out and the whole top of the car would come off. And there were these neat little compartments that were perfectly fit to fit these pieces in, and they would stow away and you never see them. There were coin holders that only fit 50 cents in the front of the car. All kinds of little intricacies about the smart car that were really super interesting. But what was most interesting about the smart car was that I actually fit in it. I could not believe it. I could not believe how comfortably I fit in a smart car. If you weren't to look behind you, you would think you were in a normal sedan just driving. But from the outside, you are literally inside of a clown car. When I stand next to it, I'm probably twice as tall as it. So me and this gentleman take it for a little test drive. I see how everything works. I try out the convertible top, and I'm in love. I can't not buy this car. So I negotiated the price down to $2,900, hand him the cash, and immediately start my journey back to Atlanta in this car. Obviously, for a road trip like that, it's not ideal to do this by myself, so I actually had my friend, my tallest friend to be exact, flying from Atlanta, who's about 6'7", and we did the trip together. Now on my channel, we do a lot of like challenge style videos, so the idea was to go from one side of the country to the other as fast as humanly possible. And if that idea sounds familiar, it probably is, because I got that idea from my friend Ed, who runs this channel as the former Cannonball record holder. I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories from Ed on how much bigger the country is than it looks on a map. The drive was as miserable as you would assume it would be in a sport smart car. But after 35 hours, we popped up on the other side of the country. From there, it's an ongoing story. We plan to invest as much money into this depreciating asset as possible. I recently spent $1,000 on Facebook Marketplace. Honey, the popular browser extension, you see it advertised everywhere on YouTube, actually decided to sponsor the car in the video. And because Honey was sponsoring, we decided to design a Honey livery for the car, which ended up basically being a Honey logo and then 2 giant racing stripes down the center of the car. And the guy who did the wrap promised that it would get me at least 125 extra horsepower. I haven't seen that come into play yet, but maybe that's like more of a timing thing. As a YouTuber, I should probably be finding some kind of way to destroy this car or do something crazy with it, but I just can't find that in my heart to get rid of it. It's too close to me at this point.